The Chiefs got the dub and looked a whole lot more like we had wanted all along, with this guy making a statement, this guy making his debut to full effect, and overall making this guy happy. Let's get after the Chiefs win versus the Texans. This is RGR Football. Welcome in, everybody. It's a great day to be a Chiefs fan, as Seth would say, and we're going to get after it here. Go through my notes and break it down as the Chiefs are now 14-1 and actually looked like they can combat a playoff team pretty dang well. Little update, Dan's not going to be able to join us today, so riding solo with me. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to go through my notes, show you everything that I wrote down, everything that's important to this particular game, and we're going to go through it. I see a lot of questions. We will answer some of those as well. Don't know that we'll get to every single one, but we will do our best. And don't forget, we have the live Q&A on Monday night where we're going to answer absolutely everything as you get ready for Steelers on Christmas Day. If you're new to us, like, sub, hit the bell. Welcome to the post game. I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of this site, as well as NFL 33 and a lot of other channels. You've seen me on Locked On Chiefs. This is RGR Football. Let's get into it. Big thing of the day for me is just the bottom line. Chiefs showed up and looked more like they should, despite having Joe Thuney, a guard, have to start at left tackle. Much drastic improvement from Joe Thuney, in my opinion, against a pass rush that is still very, very good in Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, but not as blatant as Myles Garrett was. But I saw a lot of things that I liked there. Enough that you feel you can get through until DJ Humphries is going to be back on the field, which may be in just a few days. It may have to wait a little bit longer than that because there was a wrinkle thrown in late in the game. It was the other side, Jawan Taylor, who's been battling a knee on and off, did go out of the ballgame. Wanya Morris came in at right tackle to replace him. Wanya looked like he was pretty comfortable over there as well. And as I've said, I think Wanya could be the right tackle. The future could be a guard. He's got options. It's just the left tackle where I think he's been struggling, but that was a really good sign as well. Those are some of my takeaways. Before we get too deep into it, please like, sub, hit that bell. You get me and Dan and Gary all the time, all the content constantly. And if you want that much more, you can get in the memberships like Ruthless did here. And you can get all the extra content. My game notes are going to be presented up there in a PDF form. You'll get those shortly. And I can give you a little preview. We're going to go through a number of them today as I show you what stands out to me as we go through. Now, you can have this to review at a later time if you are a member at the rookie level or above. And yes, we are going to get to a number of questions. There are some that we're going to get started with, but what I always do is take drive-by-drive notes, pretty much everything that happens in a ball game, but then I also get down to the bottom. And here's what stood out overall. The Chiefs listened to us, Dan and my game plan. If you missed that, you can go back and rewatch it. But they paid attention. They got the quick game going. Balls were released quicker. Patrick was quicker, just making the decisions and getting the ball out. Were they all perfect passes? No, he definitely missed a few today. With the ankle, despite the fact that he was able to run on it, and that is like a huge, huge step forward just in general, it still bothers him from delivering the ball. So we got to give him a little bit of slack there. But I thought other than that, they got the ball out. The offense moved. The run game was better overall. I think a lot of that credit does go to a little bit of simplification. I saw more straight-on man blocking. I saw more power blocking. Both the backs made contact and ran through it and got extra yards. So, and that's without even talking about P. Ryan. He'll come up here in the notes as well. But the big thing, despite my spelling errors, there was almost another giant play that didn't happen. I thought Worthy had a great day out, especially when he gets hurt in the first half. And I know there's some questions. Yes, he's going to be banged up and not comfortable, but he is all right. The fact that he played through the second half will tell you that. And the fact that he's able to still be productive in a number of different ways is going to be, I think, telling of just how well he'll be able to adjust. Now, he's probably got to take it easy for the next couple of days, knowing that the Steelers are right around the corner on Christmas Day, but that's to be expected. So I was really happy with his initial performance, and that one that was just on the sideline. He actually, I think, was trying to get his second foot in, but caught himself on his own calf, and I think that's what prevented him from trying to get that foot down. I'm not sure if he would have gotten it done, but that was a nice catch in traffic. I think it really shows what the difference is for him being a guy that gets the last of the coverage, that doesn't get the top coverage. You got Kels, you got Hop, now Hollywood, who played a lot more snaps than I expected. And if we double check, I want to say, yeah, he got significant targets, 8 targets. If you missed me on Fox 4, I was on this morning on their Kingdom show to pregame, and I said I'd like to see 4 or 5 targets for Hollywood. Getting 8 was well beyond my expectations, but he made 5 catches, an average of 9 per, and that's, I think, a solid contribution for the first game out. They also did exactly what I said on the show in that didn't put him into a position where he had to lay out for a lot of balls. He was good about stepping out of bounds and not taking a lot of extra contact. Don't need to do that in the first game. Just move the chains, get out of bounds, move on to the next play. So I was really happy with that. I will zoom in on this a little bit so it's a little bit more visible for everyone. And so this is the line here: 8 for 5 for 5 catches for 45 for Brown. Xavier got 11 targets, led in targets. And Kels was third. But you end up with Worthy getting 65 yards, yes, the touchdown, got some rushing yards as well. I thought, especially going back to him in the second half, when he looked like he could have been hurt, was key for not only his confidence, but for the game itself. I will say this too. The other big takeaway for me is that McDuffie, wide receivers can't block him. Now, can you get off of the line of scrimmage on him and run away from him? Tank Dell did on that touchdown that ended up getting Tank hurt, and kudos to him. It was an electric play in that if there had been a jam on, if Spags had elected to have McDuffie jam the smaller receiver, which is always a risk, but I tend to like, because it allows that route not to happen, because it would have thrown him off and they wouldn't have been able to connect on that one. But you also run the risk of missing that jam and then that turning into a deep play where he's running even more free. So I can understand that. He did just get an inside release on McDuffie, get up the field, and was able to just run away from him enough to get like a 2-step gap, and that was all he needed to make the catch. Now, feel terrible for him. That does look like it's a pretty good injury. My guess is ACL, MCL. We'll see what happens. Certainly, he's at KU Med. There's no place better in town for him to be. So rock chalk, and thank you for everybody there. I know a lot of folks that work down there and have done some great work for people that I know. So I know he's in good hands. That steps away to probably my biggest takeaway for the Texans was, yeah, they're a scrappy team. They've got some good players, but CJ Stroud is an emotional leader, something we didn't see at Ohio State. And so, yes, they're leading this division. The Chiefs just beat them. I don't see them coming back and beating them in the playoffs, but just keep an eye on that, because I think CJ Stroud's way about him, kind of a quiet intensity, and his emotional leadership is something the Chiefs are going to see for the next few years, because I do believe they're going to be able to continue to build around him. And folks had asked me on social media just for a couple of hints about how I'm doing what I do. And so I will give you this little hint. When I go side screen, and if you saw it on social, you might have seen what I put out there. I have my laptop that I'm taking notes on. I have an iPad that's running the Peacock Madden view, which is just a sky view, just like Amazon's is, just like the college football playoffs is. It's just that they're doctoring it up a little bit. I put that on the iPad, watch the broadcast. You get a little bit of everything. I just put the sky view on a 5-second delay, and that really helps me get the initial view on the broadcast, come back to the all 20 sky view, and get a little bit of everything. That helps me solidify what I'm going to tell you guys. So, and that said, we do have a bunch of super chats. Super chats get an answer no matter what. So if you want on the show, go ahead, throw that in there, and I will get after it. As we go up through a couple of things in the actual notes, drive to drive. And this is what I do when we have opportunity. I want to take a quick look here. As you see, the Chiefs rarely were in contention to fail, according to the analysts at NFL Pro. And if you don't have this, it's what Dan and I use for not only film review, but for a lot of advanced stats. This is just live here, very similar to what you get in NFL GSIS. For the media members, we use that a lot as well. So I think as you go through, the first half starts off, I thought this is funny because it starts with Trank and Bolton versus the run, and then later in close to the end, the last defensive drive, it starts with Trank and Bolton against the run, getting TFL. So you get a nice bookend there, and it shows the intensity the defense was able to bring throughout the day, especially when Chris Jones goes out with his calf. It doesn't look terrible to me. I'm going to say that right now. I won't say that he's 100% by any means, but it does look like could have been a slight strain, could have been a cramp, anything, but you don't take a chance with Chris Jones. So you take him out of the ballgame, and I think that's perfectly legit for them to do at that point. But it also gives you a little bit of a leg up that, hey, your defense was able to still perform without him, and that's a huge sign. So that's something that goes all through the notes. A lot of players made plays, and you can see for the first time this season, I got a little bit of red in here, kind of a balance between, if you haven't seen my notes before, if you're new to this channel, do subscribe. But also, if you want these to go over, you can have them in the rookie memberships or above. I start with greens. The plus side is the first column inside the drive, and then the negatives, the minuses, are the reds. And you can see it's pretty balanced through the first half. Going. And then you get to this point where it starts slow. The offense had 2 bad drives to start the second half of the game. And you can see there's more in the red column than there is in the green column. But then it starts to shift. And it starts to get lopsidedly in the Chiefs' favor. And I don't know that it's, where is it? Where the injury to Dell comes in. I should have had that recorded probably in here somewhere. I just can't pick it out at the moment. But you can see the shift, how the 7th defensive drive, it was back and forth. You still got some good plays if you're a Texans fan, but you weren't able to do everything. And that's where the Chiefs started to take over, and they closed it out. And that's what overall makes me feel like this is what we've been expecting all the time. With Hollywood's emphasis and him back in the offense, making contributions first game. Now with Hop out there, Juju Smith-Schuster had some good blocks in there, but I don't think that he was ready to be part of this main game plan. Now that you had Hollywood out there, this is what Xavier could have looked like all season, because there's so much attention on the top two. Hop, now in place of Rashee Rice, but Hollywood as that other outside threat. This is what the offense was designed to be. It allowed you to do more things. Love the full backfield. I'm probably going to do that play. It's a very, very short week this week, folks. So we are going to have the Q&A on Monday. We'll have something for you Tuesday, but then game days the next day. It's going to be very tight. So we'll do some of these film reviews and things after the fact. So watch for those coming up later. But I want to get to your questions as well, and we'll come back and reference the notes as we need to. We'll start with Sam. Can teams adjust quarter by quarter? They absolutely do, Sam, and they adjust drive by drive as well, especially when you get revolving personnel changes. Texans lost a couple of offensive linemen. Chiefs ended up losing Juwan Taylor. So, there's always adjustments that go on, and that's what you see the tablets on the sidelines for. That's what you see the headsets back and forth, Spags up to the booth. All the defensive coaches that aren't on the sideline, at least 3 of them are in the booth, watching, getting that sky view in real life. And that's how they see what's going on. That's why I try to watch that, so I can give you guys the information based on what a coach's view is as well. So that really makes a significant difference. Thanks, Sam. Nice to see you. Thank you for the support. Pena, nice to see you. I always mess up your first name, so I'm going to hold off now. Did Pat trustworthy on slant route? Yes. Absolutely. The offense looked competent for stretches. Trent becoming a ball hawk. Dan, Ryan, the team flipping the switch. And we've been talking about this. Building up to flipping that switch is something they've been working for a long time. And this is what they do. They hold back, they hold back, they hold back. It's the 21st of December. And for the first time, they looked like they could put a complete game together against a playoff caliber team. They looked decent against the Bills. Let's not kid around, but not as I think well-rounded as they were today, with multiple injuries on the offensive line, with Patrick Mahomes injured himself, with just returning player in Hollywood Brown. Trent McDuffie, interceptions back-to-back games. You're absolutely right. That makes a difference. And they said it on the broadcast in a way that I didn't think really gave it as much credit as it should. Sometimes when players do make that first play, all of a sudden, not only to boost their confidence, but it makes them in their minds start thinking about exactly where they can do that every single play, and it becomes more of an emphasis, more of an instinctual thing. And that's where players take the next leap. It happened with L'Jarius Sneed. It's happening with Trent McDuffie as we watch right now. So I'm pretty excited about it. Thank you for the support, buddy. Nice to see you. Kyle, nice to see you as well. 8-point margin of victory. Kareem slides on the 5 going into the end zone to ice the game. 1-score game. Yes, but exactly. It would have been much more than that. LOL. In other news, 2 picks for Trent. Yep. Big sack for Williams. Welcome to the Chiefs. Hollywood. Kyle, you said it really, really well. And I'm a little justified here. I'm glad, honestly, the Hunt didn't go in because on Fox 4 this morning, I called it, and you guys saw the game plan. I called it 27-17. I overestimated that a little bit. That was a 2-point margin. I went 27-20 on Fox this morning. That came a little bit closer. But yes, a lot of good going on here. And control, not desperation, not running around with your head cut off for Patrick, not putting himself in harm's way. And that's really, at the end of the day, what it's about, to keep yourselves ready for the next step. Hollywood made impact. I think he can make an impact in the playoffs. Swag, I think you're absolutely right. For him to walk back out, knowing that they spent all summer in Dallas, spending a lot of time, they spend all camp. We were talking about Hollywood as much as Xavier, right? And for him just to have to shut it down right there was just a whole lot of lost upside, a lot of top speed gone, right? Now this is just a glimpse. It was drags, it was outs. It wasn't, there was that one out and up that he just barely missed him on. It's here in my notes as well. And I did start it for those of you that have access to this and are going to have access to it. I'm calling Hollywood Brown in my notes HB. I don't have the whole key to all my acronyms and abbreviations, but HB means Hollywood Brown. So you can find that. A little screen action, a couple of screens. There was that one connection where they didn't quite make it that I was a little disappointed in. But other than that, pretty simple route structure. It's only going to get better from there. And you can see what it's already done to open up Xavier because teams know Hollywood more. Yes, Xavier has speed they're scared of, but they know Hollywood and they know that they have to respect him. So I think it gets him a little bit more instant attention. And that's part of why this happened. Thunderius, nice to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. No Texans gear wearing for you. Absolutely. And if you guys haven't checked out Thunderius' channels, go check him out. And now you can just be you. You don't have to wear Texans gear. I, for one, am very happy to hear that. So well done, buddy. And thanks for being here and supporting. Could Tooney actually be the answer this season at left tackle? Secondary looks vulnerable without Jalen. It does still look a little bit vulnerable. I will say this. For the most part, you saw CRW take a big step forward. He put on some weight through this season. He looks a little bit thicker. He's definitely a little bit more physical. He got beat at least once that I noticed. Let me see if I can find it. And that's going to happen for a guy who is just a rookie. It was here. He also made a nice running back tackle on Mixon. So there were pluses and minuses. But I think you're functional with him going forward so that you can rotate Nazi, who did take some nickel snaps today as well, and Jay Will on the outside. Now, Jay Will made that big play at the end on the blitz. Good for him. He looked pretty rough in coverage most of the day. So we'll take a look at that probably after the Steelers game and get back to you about how everything goes on. Now, as far as Tooney, I like where you're going. He certainly played better today against what is a good pass rush, not an elite pass rush. I would put the overall pass rush in the playoffs, this was the bottom of ish. I think you have a better pass rush in Denver, who's still in the playoffs. I think you have a better pass rush in Buffalo in particular. And I think you definitely have a better pass rush in Pittsburgh, who they're playing just in a couple of days. So there are still levels to go above. Rumor is that DJ may be able to go on Christmas Day against the Steelers, in which case Tooney goes back inside where he should be. You start Wanye unless Taylor just bops back in. And now you're helping on the right-hand side, which I think was effective. And I do think that Wanye can be more effective as a right tackle. He's just more comfortable there. I thought he played better there. In college, I thought he played better on the right side in general. So he's certainly part of the answer in allowing DJ to get back. And if DJ has to miss another game, I'm comfortable with what Tooney's doing against what is a formidable pass rush in the Steelers. They're still going to have to help him. Caliendo had some nice plays. He had some bad plays today. So if you can get DJ back, you are really upgrading the interior, and you're at least at a break even, if not better, at the left tackle spot as DJ kind of works back in to being full strength. If you guys are reading the notes and have any questions, put them in there. Super chats are piling up, so I'm going to keep rolling. Adam Schefter really jumped the gun, calling it a week-to-week ankle sprain before testing was done. Looked like a normal Patrick roll-up for me. I knew it was one of his lightest to date. Well, and I actually heard the opposite coming out of the game, that this was more significant than it looked on television. Obviously, Patrick, and his Gumby ligaments inside of his ankles were able to counteract that, and good for him. It is certainly just pretty damn amazing what he is able to do in recovery to get to that point. And I'm glad that he did. We just have to guard against being, spoiled by it and expecting it. So continue to protect him. Try to keep guys off of him. This game plan, getting the ball out early, certainly took care of that, and it's got to be the step going forward. Chiefs, again, is Worthy okay? I think he's fine. He'll be a little sore. He's going to have to get treatment the next couple of days. I think he'll be fine against the Steelers. He certainly showed no ill effects with the adrenaline going at the end of the game. But when you come down, you're going to be sore. He's going to have to work through some of it. Daryl, thank you, my friend. Nice to see you. 3.5 years in the memberships. You are the man, one of the OGs around here. How about those Chiefs? They are doing well, and they are raising eyebrows across the league. Yes, they're 14-1. People have called them the worst 14-1 team or whatever their record has been all year. Guess what? Now they're starting to rise up. They're nowhere near where they can be. And this is Andy's whole plan. This is why he holds back. This is why he wants to win games close, and he doesn't care, because this is where he starts that upward trend. He wants them to peak in about 6 weeks from now. That's what he's looking for, and I don't blame him. So I think so far it's working out pretty good. Ruthless, nice to see you back again. Is it me, or did Wanye look 10 times better at right? And hot take, looked better than Juwan. I don't know about that. I have to go back and watch a lot closer. I was, I'm trying to watch the whole line as a group, so can't zero in as much. But once I get the 22 in the back angle, I'll definitely check it out. But as I said, Wanye's the right tackle of the future. Kingsley's the left tackle of the future, as long as there's no hiccups. I think that's the way it should go. If there is, Wanye can move inside, and they may draft another right tackle again, is my guess. We'll see what else happens. The free agent class is a little bit iffy, so be be aware of that one. Thank you, Ruthless. Donnie, thank you. Would you like to see more of those rub screens with Hunt and Hollywood with Xavier on the same side? Is just awesome to watch. I can't agree with you more. And the thing is, eventually teams will react to it in another way, right? Where they'll shift and they'll take the outside. And so then the pass goes to someone else because it's the same concept, but they're guarding against the wrong piece. And so Patrick just has to be able to read, see, and fire. When he does, he's excellent. And as I said on the game plan, when Patrick's a little banged up, I think he relies on his processing and his eyes more. And I think he doesn't hold the ball as much because he doesn't have the escapability when he's a little banged up. So I think he's actually a more efficient quarterback when he's a little dinged up. And he has to be smart with the ball, make good decisions, process faster, and get the ball out. I think it actually helps his game. Donnie, thank you. Oregon, nice to see you. P. Ryan screens could be the difference in the playoffs. Dude never fails to make big plays. You're absolutely right. And he's got a feel for it. I think people, because of his size, forget about him as a pass-catching threat. He is clearly on this roster the third down back no matter what. It is not really much of a question at this point. And he's getting things done. He's making big plays, and that's all that you can ask. As the last resort, that's the way you want it to go. Now, would I like to see them be able to screen a little bit more effectively with the wide receivers? Yes. But if that's what you have to come down to, with these three backs, you have Steele in as an actual fullback today. Love that. He's able to contribute in multiple ways. You have four backs that you feel you can hand the ball to and get something done. You can throw the ball to and get something done. And then with both P. Ryan and Steele, you have somebody that can either run as a lead fullback or run a dive. You have a nice spread of abilities at the running back spot right now. Got to keep them all healthy. But I do think the balance that you're getting, as we take a quick look, because I don't recall, it was Hunt with 11 attempts, Pacheco with 9. So a nice even split. It was just the fact that I think later in the game, Hunt was feeling a little bit more his bigger momentum because he's a bigger dude, I think was helping him because they were both making yards after contact. They were both having to drive through it. And I just think that helped. This is a good balance. It protects Pops for long term, keeps him for the playoffs. You want to keep it all going. And I love the way that it looked today. That was a significant one. Cody, nice to see you, buddy. Hollywood, X, and D-Hop need to be on the field together more. They absolutely do. And they're starting to build that in, and they're going to continue that. The one thing that I didn't like is one of the worst plays of this game was when they had all of them plus Juju and spread everybody out. And it was a 5-man protection. It got beat up, and it got Patrick to rush a pass. So they still have to be careful. They need to keep a back or tight end in at all times for now. That's how I feel they need to do it. But you're absolutely right. Those three together is going to be really, really entertaining as we get there. And God forbid they're able to re-sign those guys. Maybe you get a ring, maybe you don't, and that puts the hunger back in him. You want Hollywood back, you want D-Hop back, you get Rasheed back, and then you have X. I mean, it's the best receiver group in the league if you end up doing that. So that's what's in the back of my head as they start to come together as well. Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Oregon. Guys, we are going to go to Locked On Chiefs live with Matt Derrick from the stadium here, coming up in 15-ish minutes. So we're going to get through all your questions. If you got something now, put them in there. If you need to see my notes again, put that comment in there, and I will try to get that. And remember, Monday night, we're going to go through all of this. We'll answer every question, see it all, and go through. So if you would listen to Kyle, I would very much appreciate that, and subscribe. Dan's just tied up with family stuff, so he's going to be back. Not a problem. You'll have questions answered from him on Monday night as well. Not completely abandoning the running game. This is the way. I like it, Mandalorian. Chief Lorian, I like that. iTest says Hollywood changes the dynamic of the offense. Absolutely. It just puts one more spike in the trident that you're throwing at every team, and I am 100% with that. And let's see, let's take a look as maybe I can blow this up a little bit more. It's going to be a little, let me do it on this side, which hopefully makes it a little bit easier to see. Okay. So what we end up with is, I can go to the offensive tab and it'll do it for me. Hold on. So what we end up with is 28 rushing attempts. Now, a couple of those were Mahomes scrambles, and a couple of those, or Xavier. Xavier, I will still count as actual runs because they're called plays. But take Patrick's out. So you end up with 23 rushing plays compared to 41 attempts, plus you got the scrambles. So that'd be 46 to 23. That's a 33% split. And for an Andy Reid offense, I'll take it. Their average for the year is about 37%, a little bit up. I want to get it to 40, and I feel like that's the magic number. But certainly not abandoning the run is a great way to describe what happened today. Thank you for that, Chief DeLorean. And thank you for the support and being one of the members. Very much appreciate you. Andrew, much better. They are locking in. Hollywood is going to help, and I'm willing to bet Tooney stays at left tackle. Still need to clean up a bit, but way better. Absolutely, way better. A cocky and capable defensive front there, who were coming after Mahomes. They were able to do pretty good. What did they get? They got 1 sack for 9 yards. So I'm not going to, be too upset about it. And that's perfectly fine. And we can live with it. When we look, Chiefs end up with 6, 10, 11 hits on the quarterback and 2 sacks. You got to love it. So especially with the timeliness of Jay Wills, you got to be pretty happy with that overall. We go back, and I do want to look at third down efficiency, which 7 for 13, same as Houston, over 50%, so not terrible, but I do think there was room to be better. So, yeah, definitely on the way up, Andrew, and I appreciate you, and thanks for the support as always. Nice to see you. Chief DeLorean, thank you. So you're on the train, and I very much appreciate you. I love the avatar, by the way. He's giving away memberships. If you just got a free membership, you can thank Chief DeLorean. And you can then upgrade it from the bottom. All YouTube memberships that are gifts are in at the rookie level, the bottom level. You can go up to the rookie or the starter, et cetera, and go from there. We do extra content. You get my notes. You get all kinds of stuff that we do that we don't put out in public. Usually things that we hear that we trust but can't necessarily confirm. A lot of that you get inside the rookie level and above as well. Thank you, Chief DeLorean. Evgeny, thank you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. 14-1. Worthy still playing by college rules. How no more touchdowns would have he had? How many more touchdowns would he have had if he only needed to land inbounds with 1 foot. Yeah, he needs to learn from D-Hop. He definitely will. And I like I said earlier, I do think he was attempting to do that. I think he just got caught up with himself. So definitely part of the evolution, but I do think he is making that evolution as well. Michael, thank you, buddy. Big win. Is there any way we see this O-line turn around for good? Well, I think DJ will play, if not the Steelers, certainly by the end of the season. Got to get him a few more reps before you go into the playoffs. He will, honestly, if they keep this up, they should get the first round bye, and they should get an extra week. And I think that could round them in. They got to get DJ back on the field so that Tooney can go back to guard, and then you deal with Wright. Maybe Taylor's not going to be out too long. I haven't seen any update on this yet on Taylor. I'm trying to monitor the pressers while this is going on. I'm not doing the greatest job because it's a lot of attention to split. But if not, I think one is more capable at right than he has been at left. Bottom line. So I think we'll be better off for that. Thank you, Michael. Hey, Jacob, thank you as well. A win is that I actually feel good about. There you go. Love that the offense did most of the game. Solid victory. 3-peat is loading. It is. It's spinning up, right? They're getting ready to unleash it. And this return, I don't think can be underrated. I know we talked about it. A lot of people were excited about it, but this is what it looks like. And it's not that Hollywood blew the top off of the defense. It's that allows Xavier to be Xavier. And now you have all kinds of options, especially when we started the season. We didn't think we'd have D-Hop. We didn't think we'd have Juju, 2 more experienced guys. It'd be great if Rasheed was here, but in lieu of him, this is starting to round into shape the way that they wanted it to. So thanks, Jacob. And we should be very excited going forward. I certainly believe that. Brosifus, thank you, buddy. If our DL can't win versus a mash unit of the worst line in the NFL, they can't win against anybody. Too much quitting. I will say that. I did see a couple of times where people just kind of let off the gas. But also, they were able to get home with 4 several times. Broadcast screwed it up there when they were talking about the J. Will Ruts because it was still linebacker blitz. It was still a 5-man pressure. But they have been able to get there with 4 this week. They need to dial it up. And again, if Chris is fine, which it looks to me like he's going to be okay, we'll see if they have any more information for us. They're going to raise their game as well. But overall, I think the defense did pretty dang well. Another game held under 20. That works. And that gets you wins in the playoffs. Thank you, Brosifus. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Pena again. Chris Jones strained his calf and Taylor strained knee, and he concerned for the injury per Wednesday per Pete Sweeney. Yeah, I mean, Pete got it from the presser just like everybody else gets it, so don't give Pete too much credit. But no, that's exactly what I expected. Strained knee. He's had a knee for a while. I don't know if it'll hold him out or not. I will have more from Matt unlocked on Chiefs tonight because Matt's in the room and gets to talk to the guys. So we'll get from there. But I would say if Taylor can't go and Wanya is there, I think they'll still be okay. They'll have to give him a little more attention. But if DJ comes in from the other side, you're still okay. I don't expect Chris to miss this game from what I saw. So I feel like he's probably okay. They're just being cautious, not putting him back in the game because they didn't feel that they actually needed it. So I would not be too concerned. Thank you for the support. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. I always think Matrix when I see that. Thanks for the support, buddy. Did it upset you when Pop couldn't get 1 yard on 3rd and 4? Absolutely. What's the issue with that? Need Hunt on those downs from now on. I don't think it was actually a Pop's problem. The D-line from Texans hit harder. They moved Creed off the ball. They certainly moved Caliendo off the ball. And again, that's another thing why if you get DJ back, you move Tooney back in, you're probably winning that a little bit more. It was the line that lost those 2 snaps in particular. I'm not putting that on the backs. There is one thing. There was a vision issue that I do think had Pops gone in, he could have veered left and maybe squeezed out and actually gotten that first. So I shouldn't say it's none of the backs, but on those 2, I think the bigger problem was the O-line not getting push off the ball. So a bit of both they have to get done with. And it looks like pressers are starting to wrap, which means we're going to be live on Locked On Chiefs. So we're going to wrap it up with Jacob. And then if you guys join us over there, that'd be great. Locked On Chiefs right here on this platform. Brady's success was on the back of the check down to his RB. You're not wrong. It was a core of their game, but he also had some excellent receivers. Always had Gronk, had Randy. I mean, ended up with Edelman. Every small, undersized wide receiver that played in the slot was pretty much in New England during that run as well. So, like, there was a slew of guys, but it was about the shorts. It was about quick whips, little drags, 8 and in and behind the line of scrimmage, and the flares. that was a lot of his game. It's a wonder, actually, that Randy Moss was able to accumulate the stats that he did in that time, but we can't ignore that as well. And so anybody who's trying to compare Pat to Tom, I think it's a pretty even one-to-one comparison in terms of where they're delivering the ball. And Pat's deep accuracy is better. His deep yardage is better. And I think when it's all said and done, once they get this new group of receivers up to speed, it's not going to be like the one threat that Tyreek was, but it's going to be a bunch, and they're going to have the ability to eat going down field again. So that's going to be it for me. I'm going to get over and we're going to get ready for the other show. So if you guys would listen to info and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want in the memberships and all that extra, this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, Joshua. Yeah, when you're when you're monetized, I don't get to even see them come in. This is all YouTube throwing them at you. So apologies. I will try to get that sorted if I can draw it back at all, I will. If you're watching this on replay, there shouldn't be a ton of them, but we're going to head over to Locked On Chiefs. I do want to get the last question in, though, because, Jacob, you have a great point. I think I pretty much covered it, but I do want to say one other thing. There is always going to be this comparison, but you also have to remember it has to be about the supporting cast. Hollywood's game today and what it allowed Xavier to do, I think, really enlightens us on what the future is going to look like, especially with Rasheed back eventually and whatever happens next. So thank you guys for being here. I hope you have a great evening. We are going to be live on Monday night like we always are. Locked On Chiefs coming up in a little bit, and we'll have Locked On for you tomorrow as well. So thank you. Enjoy this. 14-1 feels pretty damn good, doesn't it? Have a great night. We'll catch you next time.